Hey everyone, I'm Rob, and welcome to my channel, Everyday Rob. Um, I'm going to begin by telling you a little bit of story. Like the title says, I ruptured my Achilles tendon. Ouch. And so I want to take this time to talk a little bit about how I knew. What are some things you can do if you're going through the same similar experience? And then kind of document my journey through my recovery from my injury. Now, I wanted to begin before I get to the whole story, my outline I'm going to go through, and share that I am not a medical professional. When I went to start looking up, once I got this injury, my first thing was let me look up online, let me find some groups, let me find some videos about this injury. And I found a lot from doctors, medical professionals, which is great because they know what they're talking about. But I thought this would be a cool and interesting spin to hear from someone that is not a medical professional, but that is in the process of going through the recovery of this injury, because I think that will give hopefully a real lens into the recovery process, which I'm finding out is very long, and just kind of what the things feel like. Because doctors can tell you what they have heard, what they know might be something to that you encounter, but I can tell you about what I actually feel, the day-to-day experiences of this injury and this recovery. So yes, I did rupture my Achilles, but I'm going to spend some time talking about how you know if it's ruptured or if it's just sprained, as well as lots of other things. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm very excited to jump in. So let's get started. All right, so to begin, I love the sport of basketball. Basketball has been something that I've been doing since I was a very young child. Basketball has been a part of my life for most of my life. Then COVID happened, so I had to stop playing basketball. And so years passed, and I really wanted to start playing again, but things got into the way. Long story short, I was like, I'm going to figure out how to get basketball back into my life and my schedule. And stumbled across my church actually has a pickup men's basketball group. You can kind of get together and play basketball once a week with guys at the church. I was like, this sounds perfect. So I was like, this would be great. Sign me up. When's the next game? I'll be there. So fast forward, now it's time. I'm going to the pickup game and kind of start playing. And so get there. I don't know anybody, but they're all very nice and friendly and welcoming. So after stretching, grab the basketball. I'm going to start shooting around. I'm going to do some layups, do some short range shots, do some backboard shots, longer range shots, free throws, 3-pointers. I just want to shoot the ball because I haven't touched the ball in 5 years because it's towards the end of 2025 now. So I need to kind of get that muscle memory back, right? Making shots, getting better. Well, to my surprise, I'm doing all this warming up and I can't miss a shot. I'm just making it all. And I'm like, oh man, I still got it. I'm ready to play. This will be great. Probably boosts my ego a little higher than it needed to be for my first game back. But I realized that some of my intangibles were still there. I can shoot a basketball. I can make a shot. I can move a little bit. Feels good. So after all that time passed, it was time to break up into teams. And I got picked up in one of the first teams. Let's go. I still got it. You know, they don't know me, but they saw my warm up, so they guess I'm still pretty decent. So that felt really good. My team is playing the first game. Game starts, everything was just great. Ball goes up. I'm going for the rebound. And when I come down, what I immediately remember and I immediately feel is someone stepped on the back of my ankle, my Achilles tendon, and then accelerated off because it was a missed shot and they were going to the other side of the court, for a fast break. And that instant hitting on my Achilles, the strength was gone, could not stand on my tippy toes. Weirdly enough, though, not much pain, but zero strength. Can't go on my toes. Can't really put a lot of pressure on my foot because I can't. There's no feeling there. I can't hold it. Can't hold up my body weight. So the game comes to a screeching halt because I'm down on the ground. I think I had a lot of adrenaline because we were playing basketball. We were like fully running, which is I think that's why I didn't have a lot of pain. Not sure. But stand up. They're like, oh, try stretching it out. Maybe you just got a cramp. All right, cool. Go against the wall. Hindsight's probably a bad idea, but this is what I did. And so doing that feels a little weird, but it's not feeling any better. I'm not gaining any strength in my leg. And they're like, can you go on your tippy toes? I was like, I cannot. So I'm like, oh, this isn't good. I'm like, all right, well, try to tie your shoes a little extra tight and kind of walk back and forth and try to slowly gradually move up to a run. And if you get there, you should be feeling better and able to get back into the game. So tighten my shoes a little bit tighter, try to walk, and that's about all I got. I can't really do much more than a limp walk. Can't go faster. Just there's no strength in my leg. I kind of lift my leg up off the ground, and my foot kind of just doesn't really do any kind of dangles. And I'm like, okay, I'm hoping for the best, kind of expecting the worst at this point. Doesn't feel really good. So I limp on out of there, grab my stuff, limp on out, go to my car. And again, kind of funny thinking about this in hindsight. I'm there by myself with my car. I got to drive home. And the foot that I eventually I learned that I ruptured is my right foot, my driving leg. And so I had to drive with my foot. And so what I ended up doing was basically like, my toes can move up and down. So basically using my toes to control the accelerator in my car. I was able to get home safely, and I get to my house, and my wife's like, "This doesn't look good, but it's late now." So I get to urgent care, and they are looking at my leg, and they're like, "All right, well, you said you hurt it. You don't have any strength. So our first thing to want to verify is that nothing's broken." So like, "All right, great." Went and got an X-ray, and they did an X-ray, and X-ray confirms nothing broken. I'm like, "That's good. Nothing broken. Great." And so she's like, "All right, well, let me try a test." And so this is the first thing I'm going to use to tell you guys if you are experiencing something like this. There are two tests that you can do that can quickly and very conclusively determine if you ruptured or tore your Achilles tendon or not. Test one is called the gap test. And you're going to basically lay on your chest or your belly on a flat surface, and you can, and basically, and you're going to be stretched out almost like a plank, but you're just laying there. And then someone is going to imagine I'm laying down, and someone's going to rub their hand or their finger on the back of your leg from your calf muscle down to the heel of your foot, because that is what they're rubbing on is your Achilles tendon. And as the name suggests, if you're rubbing and you feel their finger kind of dip down and come back up, well, that's where the tendon has been separated. They're going to go and they feel that gap and kind of keep rubbing. That is the gap test. If you feel that, then unequivocally you have ruptured your Achilles or you tore your Achilles, and we need to go down that route. So for me, again, remembering back, I did a lot of moving and walking on my foot because I swore my foot was not ruptured. So I walked a lot. I drove over to the urgent care, all those things. As a result, I was super, super swollen. My leg was swollen very bad. The Achilles was swollen. My foot was swollen. My heel was bruised. And so when she did the gap test, she wasn't able to conclusively feel that gap. And also, I don't think she wanted to push hard enough to actually hurt me, which I appreciate. So that was inconclusive and or failed test. So again, that gave me hope that I didn't rupture anything. And so I got referred to an orthopedic office to go. They deal foot and leg and ankle injuries. So they can look at me, give a closer look to see. All I was able to leave the urgent care knowing is definitively I did not have a broken bone in the lower part of my leg. She did give me a walking boot, and I will. That was my first plug, I guess. I recommend this walking boot. This walking boot is amazing. I like it a lot. The brand name of it is Breg, BREG. It's literally just what the urgent care had. Later on, I realized why this is a good one is because once you get your surgery and everything done, you want to keep your foot in what's called plantar flexation, which is like your instead of being flat, your foot's kind of out because it loosens up the Achilles tendon. So you put these wedges inside of the bottom of your boot, which helps keep your foot down. And the wedges that they had at the hospital were Breg, B-R-E-G. So they fit perfectly with the boot that I had. So they didn't have to give me a new boot. And I say all that to say, I will look and see if I can find a link to one of these Breg boots and drop it in the description. So you can definitely look for it yourself if you need that. But I'm sharing that because some people watching this video may actually pass these tests and actually not have a ruptured Achilles, maybe just a sprain. I still think putting a boot on is going to be great to kind of protect it as you're healing, and you may not get prescribed a boot or something along those lines. So you may want to get yourself a boot. And this is a good one. So I'll throw it in the description so you see it and you can look at it if you like it. But After that, after the urgent care visit, I went to that orthopedist, and they also did the gap test. Same thing. She's like, "You're too swollen. The gap does not give me anything." So that's another thing I want to tell you about. I actually like this test because it doesn't matter if you are swelling or not. This one will directly tell if your Achilles tendon is intact or not. It's called the Thompson test. So all you do for this one, same thing, lay in your stomach or your chest. They grab your calf muscle and they squeeze your calf muscle. It's one of those involuntary motions. Think of, when you have a little hammer and you hit your knee and your foot kind of jumps up, testing the reflexes of your leg. Same idea, but this one is specifically for the Achilles tendon. So when you grab someone's calf muscle, your foot should do some kind of motion. Do it to your non-hurt foot. See what that motion looks like, that twitch looks like, and then go to your injured leg, squeeze that calf muscle, and see if that happens. For me, very easily, my foot just kind of sat there and didn't do nothing. So, yep, my Achilles is confirmed ruptured. But I'm hard headed, and I said, nah, there's got to be something else wrong with this because I can still do a little bit of things here and there, and blah, blah, blah. So I was pushing hard to get an MRI because MRI will be like a picture of your leg. You can see for sure. So she was like, all right, cool. We'll do an MRI for you. I know you've ruptured it, but if you make you feel better, then sure. 2 days later, we'll do an MRI and it comes back conclusive. My Achilles is ruptured. So that lets me know for sure that I have ruptured Achilles. But then it's like there's a few other things I started to think about. And so this is what I'll talk about 2 different things before we get into kind of what my recovery is looking like so far. First thing is learning about this injury and how it happened because I didn't hear a pop. I didn't feel a pop, so nothing popped. And actually, I found a cool video that kind of talked about this. And this doctor was saying he hears a lot of people who have injury in there with basketball injuries that rupture their Achilles talk about someone stepping on their back of their leg or landing on their leg, and that was the precipice of rupturing that Achilles. And he's like, well, is it possible that that can rupture it? Sure, anything's possible. But 9 times out of 10, that is not what caused the injury because let's think of it logically, right? Your leg is completely a 90-degree angle going up. If someone lands on your Achilles tendon with enough force to rupture it at that angle, it is almost a 100% chance that they're going to roll or break their ankle because they're going to be standing vertically on your leg with a lot of force, right? So the first question is, did someone else get injured when you injured your leg? If the answer is no, chances are your brain is making up the story of what happened, right? I've never felt a pop of my Achilles tendon, so I don't know what that pop feels or sounds like. I have been stepped on playing basketball, and I was playing basketball, so that pop, my brain is like, that doesn't make any sense. So what could it have been? Someone stepped on you. Cool, makes sense. And so that was my story. I see now later on, I'm sure I was by myself jumping up for a ball and my Achilles ruptured. So that was kind of interesting that I thought I wanted to share because maybe someone else out there is kind of feeling that same sentiment. Second thing I want to share is once you know that you have ruptured your Achilles, there's 2 distinct and very different opposite plans of action that you can take. I didn't know there was 2 options. Now that I do know, I still 100% think I would have still chosen the option that I went with. But there's 2 routes for this. Route 1 is getting surgery, which I did. Get surgically repair your Achilles, and then start the healing process to let the repair kind of become permanent and back to normal. Also, there's a non-op or a non-surgical approach to healing a ruptured Achilles. I don't know a ton about that. I wanted to share that there is out there, and I would, if you are thinking about potentially not getting surgery, I'm sure there's lots of set websites and links out there you can look at to learn more about it. But in my mind, I wanted to get back to playing basketball as soon as possible. I wanted to get surgically repaired, and I even heard somewhere that some people say that when you get surgically repaired, sometimes you actually your Achilles sometimes ends up being a little stronger than it was, which is kind of an exciting potential, I think. But I wanted to share that to say that you have options. I don't know a lot about the non-op because I didn't go that route, and this is the account of my experience going through this recovery, and I chose surgery. And I also want to share that I am 5 weeks out from surgery. I got surgery 5 weeks ago, repairing my Achilles tendon. All right, so moving on to the next thing after talking through my story and talking through, how I knew for sure that I ruptured it, and also that I got surgery. Now it's the long road to recovery after getting your Achilles repaired. Cool thing for me is I ruptured my Achilles on a Thursday, and literally 7 days later, I had my surgery to repair my Achilles. So it's amazing that in 7 days, I went to ER, I went to urgent care, I got two different um, X-rays on my leg and an MRI, all in 7 days, and then still also got that surgery 7 days later. So I think it's kind of a blessing that I was able to get the surgery that fast after getting the injury. But yeah, 7 days and then got my surgery, which is interesting. So I heard it could be 6 months. I don't know. I'm going through right now, but it's a long road to recovery. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is what are some things that I've used that have been super helpful to me in my recovery, especially in those early days, day one, day two after surgery. So first, with surgery, you are put completely to sleep. But there's one thing they ask you. The anesthesiologist came to me and asked me this question: do I want a nerve blocker? Sure, give me the nerve blocker. So I was put under, and I felt zero, nothing at all. Um, so I have to say that right after surgery, your leg feels weird. You can't feel anything. It's completely numb, even though it's surgically repaired. It is just a weird feeling and sensation for about a day and a half, maybe two. You are prescribed some controlled pain meds um, and Tylenol and aspirin to avoid blood clots. So I recommend taking the pain meds on the schedule they give you every few hours. For the first 3 days, good enough. It's a good idea not to use all of the narcotic pain medication during that first stage. Use it as much as you need it, but you should save a few because if anything happens later on, and you can revert back to that narcotic pain medication, kind of knock that out. So there's that. Now, going over to the things that I use. So I talked about my boot already. Love it. I'll put a link in the description to one if I can find one online. Once you get out of surgery, they put you in this. It looks like a soft cast. It looks like an ace bandage wrapped around your leg, but it's super stiff. It's super hard. And like I said before, it puts you in the plantar flexation. So your foot is kind of down versus being flat. It's down to keep the tendon loose. So it helps with the healing process. For the first 2 weeks, you can be zero weight bearing. Can't put any weight on that leg at all. And you cannot get that cast or your leg wet. So my brain instantly goes to, how am I supposed to shower? So I know now after going through that is they do sell these cast and boot wraps and bags you can kind of like put on and tighten it up and keep your legs safe from being wet from showers. I didn't know about that. I didn't know to look that up, so I didn't. I just used a trash bag and tied it and put some tape on it. But it worked. I was still nervous about getting it messed up or messing up the cut, so I didn't shower a ton. So what I ended up doing is I bought these shower replacement wipes. If I can find a link to one of the ones that I had, I'll link it in the description as well. It was great. I did that for those 2 weeks, along with taking a couple showers here and there, and using that bag to tie it up. After the 2 weeks, you go to the doctor again. They cut that cast off, and you're able to use a walking boot. But you can't walk, and you still got to be zero weight bearing. But the boot I like because it's movable. They put these little strips over top of it that are waterproof. And so basically for showers, you just take the boot off, get in the shower, and then the water can run down. You can't scrub it because you'll knock those things off, but water and soap running down your leg and over the area won't be a problem at all. So shower's good after 2 weeks. So I'm able to do that now, which is great. All right. So the next thing that I absolutely 100% is like a super important thing for me is that scooter back there. Having a knee scooter is incredible. I got 4 kids. I got to move around helping them, getting food and get kind of stuff. So having that scooter was a godsend for me. And it's funny to say like my favorite feature of it is the brake lever and also the basket up front. Oh man, I can carry stuff, I can do everything I need, and I can still move around without having to like use crutches to move around. Ah, incredible. If you find out that you have ruptured your Achilles, even if you just sprained it, I still think one of these is really important to have. So this was like the most important and the best purchase I made during this recovery period. The one that I have is called a knee rover. I absolutely love my knee rover. I will definitely find a link to that and drop it in the description below so that you can get one for yourself. Now, I am mainly in the house and moving around on smooth surfaces. So the one that I have is this knee roller that has basically rollerblading wheels or skateboard wheels on it. Basically, it's perfect for me. But if you're someone that's thinking you're going to be going out, maybe walking a dog on sidewalk or on the street, you're going to be going on unpaved surfaces and stuff like that, then Knee Rover makes a slightly more expensive version, but it's an all-terrain version, which has air-filled tires and stuff a little more beefy. I would 100% recommend getting that because I've ridden this out on the sidewalk to get to my car or walking somewhere, and like it works, gets the job done. But there's no suspension on that, so you feel the shaking and everything on that when you're moving. So I think having one with the air tires is going to be better if you're going to be outside more. I'm inside all the time. I work from home, so I just need something to get around my house, and this one is perfect. Like I said, I'll link down in the description below. 100% recommend looking at those. That would be great. All right, so that is going to get to kind of the end of what I'm going to be talking about today. I'm going to kind of wrap this thing up by kind of talking about my recovery. Like my 6-week appointment with my surgeon is going to be next week, where I'm going to learn more about how I'm healing, if I can start doing any weight bearing on my leg, if I can start doing physical therapy. Hopefully, I can start doing more. The doctor says I can after I meet with them next week. So I'm excited for that. But I will definitely continue documenting and chronicling my experience as I'm healing and recovering from my surgery 5 weeks ago. I was just hoping to start a community with people who've gone through this injury and creating a safe space for you to, if you're just experiencing and you have questions, you want to know how I've experienced XYZ thing and what I've gone through. And if you just want a safe space to talk through things. If you also, maybe you're a few weeks ahead of me or a few months ahead of me in your recovery, you could also give me some feedback, let me know some things that experience differently for you than for me. Or if you want to learn from me and those things. I'm trying to create a community of people who've gone through this and can learn and we can kind of like grow together. Um, also, um, this channel will not only be about the Achilles experience. I'm going to also, I love cars and tech and repairs. I'll be doing those things later on in the channel as well. Definitely stay tuned for all those things. But definitely for now, we're going to be talking through this recovery period that I'm going through. And so if that's something you're interested in and you're going through it, like I said, I don't wish this on anyone, but a lot of you out there. And so I hope this safe space is a place that you feel comfortable being in and asking questions. And if you want to continue with this, I suggest you to subscribe to my channel and we can continue this journey together. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Everyday Rob, and I'm really excited to continue documenting what I'm going through and learning from you all as you are watching these videos and commenting in the comments below. All right, thanks so much, and I look forward to continuing the conversation and the journey. All right, see ya.